Hi and welcome back, and I hope you guys are ready to start with our first lesson. So I've cleared up my table and removed all the other unnecessary toys, and I have here with me the basic components that we are going to need for the next 3 to 5 lessons. I call the next 3 to 5 lessons the LED series. The reason why I call them this is because we are going to be using LEDs to introduce ourselves to programming and writing code. So an LED that we are going to use is this one, kind of like this one. It's a smaller nyana light, and what we're going to do with this, guys, we're just going to learn how to turn it on and off and then just make it blink in a variety of ways with our code and the programs that we're going to write. So I hope you guys are excited about that. But before we get into it, let us talk components, because you're not going to be able to go through with the other lessons that are going to come after this if you don't have these components. I'll bring the camera closer so that you guys can get a closer look at these components, and I'm going to explain to you what they do and why we need them. Okay, so I've just brought the camera close so that you guys can get a closer look up at the components. So the first components that we are going to need or use are the LEDs. So these are the LEDs right here. It's like these small light bulbs, and I recommend that you guys get 3 of them, because once you learn how to program one, you're gonna get a bit excited and start to wonder what I can do with the variety of them. So getting 3 is very good as a start. There's a lot that we can do with them. We can perform different functions, and your curiosity will be built so much from these 3 LEDs. So these the LEDs usually come in a pack of 10. So I got myself 10 green ones and 10 yellow ones and red ones. They usually between 15 to 20 rands for a pack of 10. So yeah, I recommend that you get those. You're going to need them because anyway the series is called the LED series. Yeah. Okay, so moving along, the next set of components that you're going to need are the resistors. So these guys are called the resistors. I'm sure you've seen them if you've stripped open a radio or an electronic toy. Specifically, these ones are the 220 ohm resistors. So yeah, they're 220 ohm and they're useful, and it's what we're going to use mostly for our LED project. They do come in different sizes, and in different sizes, the different sizes we are going to use as we move on with our series, because different circuits or different systems rather prefer different sizes of resistors. But for now, if you can get yourself 220 ohm resistors, it's still fine. So these resistors as well, they come in a pack of 10. They go for 80 cents to 1 rand for a pack of 10. So 80 cents to 1 rand, you get yourself a pack of 10 of a specific size. So you can't mix sizes together, but if you want 10 of 220, you pay around 80 cents. Right. So moving along, we have our friend here, the Arduino. So most of you have never seen this board before, and please do not be intimidated by it. What this is, it's a very, very small computer, and it's called a microcontroller. So what we're going to do with this, guys, this is where all our code and programs are going to go. So we are going to write the programs, and we are going to transfer them to this microcontroller or the Arduino. So if we want to blink an LED on and off, we just tell the Arduino, hey brother, make this LED go on and off 5 times, and this Arduino will literally do that. It's what we're going to use it for. It's a very powerful toy. I encourage you guys to Google or YouTube Arduino projects, and you're gonna see, like, as in this, the amount of things that people have done with it, and it's quite amazing. There's a lot that you can do with it, and we are gonna use it for all of our projects in this series. Everything is gonna be based on the Arduino, so I encourage you to get this. Yeah. So if you want to learn how to code and programming, this is the thing that we are going to be coding. This is the machine, this is the artificial intelligence, this is the brain of all the robots that we are going to build. So without this, we do not have our series or our lesson. So go out and get it. This goes it's between 200 to 300 bucks, so, or rands rather, South African rands, or sometimes on a good deal you can get it for 150 depending on the supplier. Like, yeah, but go and get it. You just only need to buy one and you can use it for all the robot, because it's just a brain that you can just program differently. All right, so that's our friend the Arduino. Then moving along, the other thing that we are going to need are jumper cables. So these are just a set of connectors. What we're going to do with this, we're going to connect all our components in the systems that we are going to build. These are very useful because they save us time, man. Like, they, instead of you having to strip wires and try to connect them together, these things are very useful. Such that if you look at the Arduino here, it has these small ports, and we are going to need to connect wires in these ports so that the Arduino can perform the functions that we want to perform. So as you can see, these jumper cables make it very easy for you to connect to the Arduino, like so. It saves you a lot of time. You don't have to try and find a way to thread your wires into the small ports of the Arduino. So they're very useful, they save time. To be honest, I don't know how many you get in a pack, but I know I paid 60 Rand and it was a lot of them. I haven't used most of them in the projects that I've built so far myself. So they're very useful and they save you time, and you can reuse them for different projects. That's another thing. All right. So moving along, we have the breadboard. The breadboard is gonna be the platform where we are gonna do all the connections for our components. So everything we're gonna build on this breadboard, and the systems, or the systems are all gonna be placed on this breadboard, and the microcontroller or the Arduino is gonna be controlling this whole field over here. So this is very useful. It's very good to start with the big one. The big one is much safer, especially if you are in the development stages of your programming. We are gonna go and move to getting the smaller breadboards. So these ones we are gonna use them, and these ones we are gonna use them for the robots that we are gonna have running around. So you can't put this big thing on a very small robot. Like, it's too heavy and it's not practical. So every component that we are going to use is just going to come on to this breadboard, like so. If you remember our LED, this is how you connect it over here, and it stays. And if you have your jumper cable, you can just come and insert it over here as well. You see you have a solid connection there. And now we bring in our Arduino. Maybe you want to connect him over here. So now you can see that we have a connection. Our Arduino will be controlling the LED, and the connection happens on the breadboard. So this is why we need a breadboard. It's going to be our testing ground, and all our circuits for different robots are going to go onto this breadboard. It's how all the components link up together. This breadboard here that I got it for 60 Rand. They come because of the different sizes. It can go down to 30 Rand for the small one, and you can get huge ones as well that go for 100 and something rands. So, like, yeah guys, so this is the set we are gonna need for the upcoming lessons. And yeah, man, I hope you guys can be able to get it. It'll be very useful for you. And another thing that you can look into, so different suppliers of these components usually sell this in what you call an Arduino starter pack. An Arduino starter pack or starter kit is a very nice thing to have. Like, I have my one, and it comes with a lot of components. There's a variety of things that you get there. Some components we are going to use as we go on with our series. Some of the components I haven't used in my personal projects. Like, it's just a lot. You even get like tiny tot speakers for your microcontroller. If you want to program songs onto this microcontroller, you get remote controls, you get different types of sensors, and it's just a nice thing to have. Like, as in, it's actually much cheaper if you buy the starter kit than to buy like each component separately. So the starter kit starts from 300 to 500 rands. Like, with 500 rands you get like galore, guys, components that are going to be useful. Like, usually if you buy a starter kit, you can go for months without, depending on how often you do projects, you can go for months without having to go back and buy components. So I buy my components from Mentech Electronics. So I'm currently based in Durban, and they do have a Durban shop on Umgeni Road. I know they have one in Cape Town as well, and they have one in Johannesburg. But usually most electronic shops, you'd find these components. So if you have a close one near you, try them out. They will have them online as well. You do get better deals for those that love online shopping. I encourage you to also look at that. But like, yeah, guys, you can Google Arduino starter kits and you can see the tools that you can find there. And essentially this is what we're gonna need for the next 3 to 5 lessons. So if you can get it, let's just start our way and move on to the next part of the lesson.